Welcome back to Global Eye, everyone. Today, we're covering a story that has shocked the entertainment world and left millions of fans heartbroken. Nicole Kidman filed for divorce from Keith Urban in late September 2025, ending their 19-year marriage. But here's what makes this story even more heartbreaking. Sources revealed that Nicole didn't want the separation and has been desperately trying to save their marriage. This wasn't a mutual decision. This was one person walking away while the other fought to hold on. What led to the collapse of a relationship that survived addiction, Hollywood pressures, and nearly 2 decades of marriage? What sacrifices were made, and were they enough? And most shocking of all, are the rumors true about Keith already moving on with someone new? Stay tuned, because we're breaking down everything you need to know about this devastating split. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because this is a story that's still developing. Let's dive in. To understand how monumental this breakup is, we need to go back to the beginning. Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman met in January 2005 at the Gidja USA Gala in Los Angeles, an event honoring Australians in America. Both were at pivotal points in their lives. Nicole was for years out from her highly publicized divorce from Tom Cruise, a split that had dominated headlines and left her emotionally raw. Keith was riding high as one of country music's biggest stars. But privately, he was battling demons that would nearly destroy everything. Nicole knew early on in their relationship that Keith was the man she wanted to marry. There was something different about him, something that made her willing to take another chance on love, despite the pain of her past. The connection was instant and undeniable. They got engaged in May 2006 and married just 1 month later in Sydney, Australia, in an intimate ceremony that brought both of their worlds together. For fans, it seemed like the perfect match. A Hollywood Alistair and a country music superstar. Both Australian, both talented, both seemingly devoted to making it work. They weren't just a power couple. They represented something deeper, proof that love could survive in the brutal spotlight of fame. Over the years, they built a life together that many envied. They share 2 daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, and created a home base in Nashville where they could raise their family away from the chaos of Los Angeles. But, as we now know, behind the red carpet smiles and Instagram tributes, cracks were forming that would eventually shatter everything they'd built together. Here's something that many people don't know about Keith and Nicole's relationship. It almost ended before it really began. Just 4 months into their marriage in 2006, Keith's substance abuse problems emerged and he entered rehab for 3 months. This wasn't a minor bump in the road. This was a full-blown crisis that could have destroyed their marriage before their first anniversary. During the 2024 AFI Life Achievement Awards ceremony honoring Nicole, Keith opened up about this dark period, saying he wanted to show what love in action really looks like. He revealed that Nicole pushed through every negative voice, even some of her own, and chose love. Think about that for a moment. A newlywed bride, just months into her second marriage, after a devastating first divorce, watching her husband spiral into addiction. Most people would have walked away. Most people would have said they signed up for something different. But Nicole didn't walk away. She fought for him. She stood by him during those 3 months of rehab and the difficult recovery that followed. Keith himself admitted during his AFI speech that his addictions had blown their marriage to smithereens, and he had no idea what was going to happen to them. This was a man at rock bottom, and Nicole became his lifeline. For years, this story was held up as the ultimate testament to their love. Keith would credit Nicole in interviews for saving his life. Nicole would speak about the importance of standing by the people you love during their darkest moments. They weathered that storm together, and it seemed like nothing could break them after that. If they could survive addiction and rehab in the first 4 months of marriage, surely they could survive anything, right? That's what made everyone believe this marriage was unbreakable. That's why this divorce has hit fans so hard. If Keith and Nicole couldn't make it after everything they'd been through, what hope is there for anyone? So what happened? How did a couple who survived so much end up here? The warning signs in retrospect were there, but nobody was looking closely enough. Keith and Nicole were last photographed together in June 2025 at a FIFA Club World Cup game in Nashville. That same month, Nicole posted an Instagram photo celebrating their 19th wedding anniversary, showing the 2 of them cuddled together with a heartfelt caption. It seemed like everything was fine. But here's the detail that should have raised Red flags. Keith didn't share his own anniversary post. Instead, he simply commented with a heart emoji on Nicole's tribute. For a man who had previously shared elaborate anniversary tributes, this silence was deafening. Then, in late summer, Nicole posted about summer memories with her 2 teenage daughters, noticeably absent from every photo. Keith, behind the scenes. Sources revealed that Keith and Nicole had been living separately since the beginning of summer, and it was Keith's decision to leave. This wasn't a gradual drifting apart, where both parties agreed it was time to move on. Keith acquired his own residence in Nashville and moved out of their family home, leaving Nicole to hold everything together. Nicole filed for divorce on September 30th, 2025, in Nashville court, citing marital difficulties and irreconcilable differences. The divorce documents list their date of separation as September 30th, 2025, though sources confirm they'd been living apart for months before that. The filing includes detailed custody arrangements for their 2 teenage daughters. Nicole requested to be named the primary residential parent, with the girls spending 306 days a year with her and just 59 days with Keith. Think about what that schedule tells us. That's essentially every other weekend for Keith, plus perhaps some holidays. For a father who seemed so devoted to his daughters, that's a minimal amount of time. Either he agreed to this arrangement, or the circumstances of the split made it the most practical solution. Neither option paints a pretty picture. Now let's talk about the sacrifices that both Keith and Nicole made over the years, and why they ultimately weren't enough to save this marriage. Sources close to the couple have revealed that the demands of their respective careers had created an insurmountable divide. Keith has been on his High and Alive world tour, while Nicole has been working on various projects, including Practical Magic 2 and a new season of Big Little Lies. These conflicting work commitments kept them apart for extended periods, but this wasn't new. They'd always had demanding careers. They'd always traveled for work. So what changed? Multiple insiders suggest that after nearly 2 decades together, the constant sacrifice required to maintain the relationship became too much, particularly for Keith. The tours, the time away from home, the pressure to always make it work, despite the distance somewhere along the way. Keith seems to have decided he couldn't do it anymore. There's also the matter of Nicole's career trajectory. While Keith has remained consistently successful in country music, Nicole's star has arguably burned even brighter in recent years. Her television work has earned her Emmy Awards and critical acclaim. She's been in demand more than ever. Some sources whisper that the balance of power in the relationship had shifted, and not everyone was comfortable with that new dynamic. Then there's the geographic issue. 2 months before their split was revealed, Nicole had applied to become a resident of Portugal, with Keith not listed on the application. While a source at the time explained this away as a scheduling conflict due to Keith's tours, in hindsight, it seems significant. Was Nicole already planning for a future where they weren't together? Or was Keith's absence from those plans symptomatic of how far apart they'd already grown? Sources close to the couple indicated they had been living separate lives, both emotionally and physically, for some time before the official separation. One insider revealed that their lives were moving in different directions, and once Keith quietly set up his own place, it felt like the writing was on the wall. This paints a picture of a relationship that had been dying slowly, with both parties going through the motions while knowing deep down that the end was inevitable. But here's where this story takes an even more painful turn. Multiple sources connected to Nicole and those in the Nashville community believe Keith is already involved with another woman, with one source stating that all the signs point to this being true and that it's all over Nashville. Now, we have to be careful here, because nobody has confirmed the identity of any alleged new person, and we don't know definitively when any new relationship may have started. Sources close to Nicole say she doesn't dispute the rumors, but remains shocked by the situation. Imagine being Nicole Kidman right now. You spent months trying to save your marriage. You fought to keep your family together. You stood by this man through his darkest days 20 years ago. And now, not only has he left, but there are persistent rumors throughout Nashville that he's already moved on with someone else. The timing of all this raises serious questions. Did Keith leave the marriage for someone else? Did he meet someone during his tour and decide he wanted a different life? Or did he only connect with someone new after the separation? and the Nashville rumor mill has simply spun it into something more scandalous than it actually is. We don't have definitive answers, but the whispers are loud enough that multiple news outlets have reported on them. What we do know is this: Keith has shown no signs of wanting a reconciliation. He's rented his own home in Nashville. He's continuing his tour. He's moving forward with his life, while Nicole is left picking up the pieces and caring for their 2 daughters. Let's take a moment to focus on Nicole, because this is her tragedy more than anyone else's. Multiple sources confirm that Nicole did not want this separation and has been fighting to save the marriage. She's the one who has been holding the family together through this difficult time. She's the one who stayed in the family home with their daughters while Keith moved out. She's the one who filed for divorce not because she wanted to, but likely because it became clear that Keith wasn't coming back. The divorce filing states that neither party will receive child support or spousal support, and each will keep all assets in their own name, including copyrights and royalties for their artistic work. From a financial standpoint, this appears to be a relatively clean break. But emotionally, this has to be devastating for Nicole. Think about her journey. She married Tom Cruise at age 23 and invested 11 years into that marriage before it ended in a way that left her emotionally shattered. She was cautious about love after that. It took meeting Keith for her to believe in marriage again. She not only married him, but stood by him through addiction and recovery when most people would have fled. She built a family with him. She made sacrifices in her career to maintain their relationship. She fought for them even when it seemed like the easiest thing would be to walk away. And now, at 58 years old, she's facing her second divorce. She's watching her husband move on quickly, while she's left to explain to their teenage daughters why their family is falling apart. The parenting plan states that both mother and father will behave with each other and each child so as to provide a loving, stable, consistent, and nurturing relationship, even though they are divorced. But how do you provide that stability when you're heartbroken and the person you thought was your forever partner has walked away? So where does this leave Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman? Keith recently had to cancel a performance in Greenville, South Carolina, due to laryngitis, having been placed on complete vocal rest by his doctor. He's continuing his High and Alive world tour, throwing himself into his music and his performances. For Keith, work seems to be both a distraction and a way forward. For Nicole, the path ahead looks different. She's focusing on being a mother to Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret during what is undoubtedly one of the most difficult periods of their young lives. She's continuing her acting career, but friends say she's devastated by how this has all unfolded. She saved Keith 20 years ago when he needed saving. Now, nobody can save their marriage, not even her. The question everyone's asking is, how did they go from that powerful AFI speech just last year, where Keith publicly credited Nicole with saving his life, to this? How do you go from, "She showed me what love in action really looks like," to separate residences and divorce papers? The answer seems to be that sometimes love, even the deepest and most genuine love, isn't enough when two people's paths diverge too far. During the premiere of Netflix's The Perfect Couple last year, when asked about the title, Nicole told the Associated Press that the term didn't apply to her and Keith, saying they weren't believers in being perfect. In retrospect, that comment seems almost prophetic. She was right, they weren't perfect. No couple is, but they also couldn't survive their imperfections. Despite trying for nearly 2 decades, the relationship sacrifices Keith mentioned, the ones that sources say ultimately led to this split, weren't just about time apart or career demands. They were about fundamental changes in who they were as individuals and what they needed from life. Sometimes, people grow together. Sometimes, they grow apart. And sometimes, no amount of love or history or shared sacrifice can bridge that gap once it becomes too wide. As this story continues to develop, one thing is certain. This is one of the most heartbreaking celebrity divorces in recent memory. Not because of scandal or drama, but because it represents the death of something that so many people believed in. If Keith and Nicole couldn't make it work, it forces us all to question what we thought we knew about love, commitment, and what it takes to make a marriage last. That's everything we know so far about Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman's devastating split. This is a story that's still unfolding, with new details emerging regularly. Will Keith address the rumors about a new relationship? Will Nicole open up about what led to the divorce? Will they be able to co-parent their daughters amicably, or will this get messier before it gets better? only time will tell. What do you think about this situation? Do you believe the rumors swirling around Nashville? Do you sympathize more with Nicole or Keith? And what do you think about relationships where one person fights to save the marriage while the other has already mentally checked out? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. Remember, these are real people going through real pain, and their children are watching all of this unfold. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more celebrity news and analysis. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates on this story or other breaking entertainment news. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.